Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. In our reading today, we have two breaking throughs of Yahweh. Two times that the Lord breaks through or breaks out. One is against Uzzah, the other is against the Philistines. With Uzzah, there was this situation where they were carrying the ark, they had it on a new cart, and Uzzah reached out to touch the ark to steady it because the cart had become disturbed. And the Lord broke out against him and smote him, and Uzzah died. And David actually becomes very angry with the Lord. And they actually named this place Perez Uzzah, and as a memorial for Uzzah, and to remember that God had broken out against him. And this was seen as a negative thing. David had a hard time wrapping his mind around God using such power against an individual for probably to David seemed like a very small thing. And so the power of the Lord was used in a way that kind of disturbed David a little bit. But then we find in the very next chapter, the Lord breaking out against the Philistines. And this is seen as a positive thing. And David asks of God in verse 10, "Shall I go up against the Philistines, and will you give them into my hand?" And Yahweh said to him, "Go up, for I will give them into your hand." So they came up to Baal Perazim, and there David struck them down. And David said, "God has broken through my enemies by my hand like the breakthrough of waters." Therefore they named the place Baal Perazim. A very similar name, at least that section of the name is very similar to the name given in connection to Uzzah. And so both with Uzzah and then also with the Philistines, we see the Lord breaking out and breaking through and bringing about his power for protecting his own holiness, but then also for protecting David and for protecting Israel. And the same power that was used to protect the holiness of God was used to protect Israel and to protect David in this battle. And what this shows us is that when we see God's power being displayed against his enemies, and there's plenty of places, especially in the Old Testament, but you see it some in the New Testament as well, where you see God really breaking out against his enemies. We see him bringing about discipline and punishment and judgment against people who rebel against him, against people who are involved in injustice and wickedness and idolatry. We see the Lord working in a very powerful way. And in some ways that might make us a bit afraid of the Lord, might want us to kind of shy away from the Lord. Or maybe, like David, maybe it makes us angry with the Lord. But we got to realize that that same power that's used against God's enemies to protect his own holy name is the same power that's used to protect us if we're on God's side. So it ought to encourage us to say, you know what, if we're on the Lord's side, that same power that's used against God's enemies is the same power that's used to my benefit to protect me and to hold me fast and safe in the various struggles and trials and battles that we have to face each and every day. And so we have a God that breaks through. We have a God who breaks into history, breaks into situations, that brings his power to enact his justice, to promote his holiness, but also to protect his loved ones and protect those that he cares about and those who are in a relationship with him. And that should give us comfort, and to know that we have such a powerful God who can accomplish all things for us and help us. And so as we face this day, let's do it with the encouragement that we have a powerful God who's on our side, who's there to help us and assist us and to carry us through. And even in the instances that we read in the Old Testament and the New Testament where God enacts his judgment, even that can give us encouragement because we see a powerful and mighty God who's able to protect. So here's some things we can reflect on and think about as we do our reading today. With that, guys, I do thank you for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.